Hi there and welcome back to another Easter devotions. Today I'm going to be reading from John 19:17 to 27. So it says, carrying his own cross, Jesus went out to the place of the skull called Golgotha, where they crucified Jesus. They also crucified two other men, one on each side, with Jesus in the middle. Pilate wrote a sign and put it on the cross. It read, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. The sign was written in Hebrew, in Latin and in Greek. Many of the Jews read the sign because the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city. The leading Jewish priests said to Pilate, "Don't write the King of the Jews, but write, 'This man said, I am the King of the Jews.'" Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." After the soldiers crucified Jesus, they took his clothes and divided them into 4 parts, which each soldier getting 1 part. They also took his long shirt, which was all in one piece of cloth, woven from top to bottom. So the soldiers said to each other, "We should not tear this into parts. Let's throw lots to see who will get it." This happened so that the scripture would come true. They divided my clothes among them and threw lots for my clothing. So the soldiers did this. Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother, his mother's sister, Mary, wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the follower he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Dear woman, here is your son." Then he said to the follower, "Here is your mother." From that time on, the follower took her to live in her home. So the passage to me was split into 3 sections. The first section being Pilate writing the sign. When the soldiers said to him, change it, make it more humiliating for Jesus, he said, "What I have written, I have written." Although he was commanded to basically carry out Jesus' crucifixion, he still wanted to save him from that humiliation of the soldiers mocking him. So he stood with what he wanted to say, basically. The thing that stood out to me was when the soldiers tried to rip his long shirt into 4 ways. They couldn't, because it was seamless and it was unrippable. So in the passage it said, "They divided my clothes among them and they threw lots for my clothing." But right underneath it says Psalm 22:18. So in that passage in Psalm, it's called the prayer of a suffering man, written by David, which basically is foreshadowing what would happen in his crucifixion. Jesus basically is the suffering man, because they tried to tear his clothes but they couldn't. And in the Message version of John, it says the soldiers validated the scriptures. So basically it's saying that it happened and God had everything in control, because he planned everything out, even from hundreds of years before this in the Old Testament. He knew exactly what was going to happen at Jesus' crucifixion. And the last thing that stood out was the number 3 in this passage. So I did a bit of research, and the number 3 appears 467 times in the Bible. And in this passage, it's the 3 languages of the sign: Hebrew, Greek and Latin. It's 3 people being crucified on the hill, and the 3 Marys, his mother, his aunt and his dear friend, who were near him when he died. So this, and the other third thing that I looked up that I noticed, is that in Jewish culture, someone hasn't truly passed away until 3 days after they've died, which shows that Jesus actually conquered death by not rising till the 3rd day. So this just emphasizes everything that God has control over. The number 3 actually means new life and completeness in Hebrew. So Jesus dying on the cross was giving us new life, and him completing his basically mission from God to come to earth and to save us all. So if anything that you can take away from this is that God is in control, and even that Jesus was killed in between 2 men, he was in the centre. It shows that Jesus is in the centre of everything, and everything that happens here is pre-planned and in control, because God planned everything out. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you for our next devotion.